Hey everybody, we are back with our Monday night tips, and in response to Glenn Libman's post here, we're going to talk about the benefits of lead pipe buzzing. And before we even get into that, I gotta say, I think it's really important for us as trumpet players to remain and be really open-minded about different approaches, techniques. I know there's a lot of different schools of thought, and some people can get really entrenched into a particular thought process about it. However, for me and for most of the great players that I know, it's been a combination of a lot of different things, maybe a lot of systems, maybe various teachers, and or various just personal experimentation to figure out what works for them. So for those reasons, I feel, we should be really open to new thoughts.
For me, the benefits of lead pipe buzzing is it helps me find the balance of my air and the resistance of the mouthpiece and the lead pipe combined, which causes a sympathetic vibration in my chops as opposed to trying to force them together like free buzzing. I find that gets too much tension built up in here. And even mouthpiece buzzing can create too much tension for me as well. So this is a way that it just gets all of this apparatus here, the machine, really relaxed and open. And then I find that balance, as I said, between the resistance of the mouthpiece and lead pipe and the air.
Right. So this is a way, I guess, another way to say this is a way to increase your efficiency and allow the instrument to work at its maximum for you. So it has some therapeutic benefits as well. If your chops are really stiff, it gets things in motion and gets things flowing again and helps clear out that lactic acid as well as a result of this.
What I've also found is that when I practice lead pipe buzzing, I start with my chops, my aperture in a really relaxed state. They're not touching, and by blowing the air and in a very steady airstream to find that resistance, as we've talked about, what that does is it brings my chops together to the point that the vibration starts, but it doesn't bring them too much together so that I'm creating too small an aperture that is really not that efficient because it closes down a certain amount of the buzzing surface. So it sort of maintains the largest buzzing surface that I can get within that mouthpiece cup.
I think that's a great point, Paul. When we're playing, we want to get the maximum amount of lip tissue inside of the cup of our mouthpieces vibrating, right? If our chops are forced together really tensely, then it inhibits that kind of freedom that we can get.
Exactly. And what it does is it causes you to have to blow even harder because if you've only got part of your lip actually vibrating and you have to play at a certain volume, you're going to have to make up for that by blowing a lot more forcefully. So by staying as relaxed as possible, and as Bobby said, having the most amount of vibrating surface there, more vibrating surface is more sound. And more sound means you don't have to work quite as hard to force your lips to vibrate.
So, Paul, why don't you give us a quick demonstration of how your chops vibrate sympathetically, which means you're not forcing them to vibrate as in a free buzz, for instance.
Okay, sure. Well, I'm not going to do the free buzz right now, just because try and keep this video short. But I will show you that buzzing your mouthpiece is not necessarily an indication of what note is going to come out of your horn, and where that horn wants to slot. So the example would be this: if I buzz a note. You can see that I'm actually buzzing on my mouthpiece a higher note than what's coming out here. And just to show you, so you want to take your tuning slide out of your lead pipe. So what we're working on is the resistance of mouthpiece within the lead pipe against the air that you're gently blowing to result in that sympathetic vibration. So I'm not sure how well it'll translate through the computer speakers, but just listen to the sound. First, I'll get the pitch. Then I'm going to play. I'm going to buzz it on the mouthpiece. So if you can remember the quality of that sound or a lack of quality of that sound, and now listen to it when I approach it in a different way where I'm not trying to make my chops vibrate. I'm just allowing them to vibrate sympathetically, again, against that resistance of mouthpiece through the end of the lead pipe. As opposed to hopefully that translates over the computer speakers, and you can hear that example and how they do differ. And for me, it feels so much easier to play the second way, using the resistance that's already there in the mouthpiece and the lead pipe. So the horn is already filled with air. You know, it's an open tube on either end. So there's already air in there. You don't have to fill the horn with air, and nor do you have to blow the air or the sound all the way through the horn. You just have to work with the horn and that resistance to get that sympathetic vibration. So Bobby, show us, what I'm talking about there.
So here's an example of sympathetic vibration. I'm just using my hand against my mouthpiece, and there's a pitch. I mean, you can go down a half step if I push the valve down. And now I can't get my mouthpiece out. So the other way I can demonstrate this is I'm not getting a buzz here on my mouthpiece. And the resistance is what's causing my chops to vibrate. And for me, it does help relax them. Now, I am also a proponent of doing a little bit of mouthpiece buzzing and doing a little free buzzing from time to time, but I've always been open to this, and this lead pipe buzzing is something that I find very helpful. I think it's something you can add to your arsenal of techniques and something to experiment with.
So thanks for your question, Glenn Libman. And here's a few ideas of how to approach lead pipe buzzing. We hope that this has been beneficial, and you'll experiment with this and find the benefits that we have in lead pipe buzzing.
Let us know how things are going. Put your comments below, and we'll be watching you.
And be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Trumpet Diagnostics.